Good evening, and welcome to yet another Warhammer 3 multiplayer online battle. This is going to be yet another domination game where I'm playing as the Dwarves, as the Dawi, being led by a Rune Lord who has nothing but the dreaded Rune of Wrath and Ruin. And my opponent playing as the Lizardmen, being led by Lord Mazdamundi, atop a Feral Bastillodon, I think that's what that is. As for my army, I've got a couple gyro bombers, including the Sky Hammer up in, well, the sky, as you would expect, with their terrifying bombs. These bombs are a little more effective than they used to be in Warhammer 2, so, you know, these guys are here for pushing away units. They do actually a shit ton of damage, 1,100 per missile. A lot of miners with blasting charges, just kind of like garbage to hold the front line, and then thunderers with their muskets ready to blast anything. And I've also got a cannon. And for some reason I've got Trek. I don't know. I just thought it would be funny. And more thunderers over here. For my opponent, he's got a bunch of chameleons, as you'd expect. He's got the Temple Guard. He's already got the Star Chamber Guardians out in the battlefield. Wow. The Legion of Chakwa, too. Red-crested skinks, red-crested skinks. So definitely a more melee-focused army for my opponent. I do not see these chameleon skinks, and they start ripping up my gyro bomber. Not really a fan of being taken to Pound Town with those units, so I just, you know, say whatever. I'm just going to fly up in the sky and avoid that. I have my cannon shooting at, what is it shooting? Or maybe it's not shooting at anything. Yeah, I don't actually think I could see the chameleon skinks at this point. I think they're like invisible. I think I could see them here. I think they were observable at this point. But you know, we're just sort of like jockeying for position, getting into position. Summon a unit of giant slayers over here, as I figured these units would be pretty, you know, a necessity to really deal with dinosaur units. And we've got the gyro bombers flying overhead, looking to drop their payload, you know, getting some shots down on the chameleon skinks as they're going, but the lizards, they're clumped up in such a nice, delicious blob, and we start dropping the bombs on them. Eventually. Yeah, there we go. We start dropping the bombs, getting some pretty disgusting damage on the Legion of Chakwa. Yeah, I'm trying to micro them. Yeah, Legion of Chakwa definitely getting shredded. However, this gyro bomber mismanaged, did not micro it properly, gets surrounded by Ripperdactyl riders and chameleon skinks, and it's going to go down. This Sky Hammer, though, he's alright. Thunderer unit being pushed around by Banishment, and the Rune Lord is fighting Mazdamundi with his miners in tow. You know, just like personally going to smash these lizards with his little hammer. And back home, what I've got, Thunderers over here. We're capturing Objective 3 with Miners, and we're moving to capture Objective 1. My opponent is, like, completely hard committing here on Objective 2. He's doing everything he possibly can to win. We've got our Thunderers blasting into Mazdamundi, who is using Apotheosis, so he is getting some pretty excellent healing. These Thunderers trying to take out these Ripperdactyl Riders, but actually dodging most of their shots. More Thunderers over here. These Thunderers, I basically have everything I possibly can firing into the big fat guy on top of his dinosaur, trying to kill his lord as fast as possible, but my cannon, which also was shooting him this whole time, is now getting compromised. Thankfully, I got those Giant Slayers from a long time ago, and they are just going to have a field day. And also these Thunderers, like, shooting the Ripperdactyl Riders in the spine, and these Thunderers somehow shooting, I guess they're kind of shooting over the cliff. These Ripperdactyl Riders are, they're dead. They're done. Now, these guys, I think my opponent just sort of like, you know, there's a little too much action going on, so he kind of forgets about them. Mazdamundi, very close to death. I mean, he is healing him with Apotheosis, so he's trying to keep him alive, but my miners are breaking in the front. Gotrek is in here. He is being useless shit, but, you know, he's fun, so that's fine. He pops the Shield of the Old Ones to give him some damage reduction, and I spawn in some more. Oh, these are actually Bugman's Rangers. Yeah, cool unit. I like these guys. They've got liquid fortification, so they regenerate themselves, and they're just going to pick apart these dinosaurs that my opponent has forgot about, and I'm not going to complain about that. Getting some free kills. We get the cannon crew back online, and now we've got a lot of Thunderers, but unfortunately our front line is compromised. I sent the Giant Slayers forward to fight the Star Chamber Guardians. I guess we'd win that. You know, if nothing else, we have a lot of armor-piercing damage, so the Star Chamber Guardians, their armor is not going to be helping them. But they're both like anti-large armor-piercing units, but I have guns. I have a shit ton of guns. I have guns and more guns everywhere. Have Objective 3 still. Do not have Objective 1. He got some Cold One Riders and Feral Cold Ones and just pushed my miners with blasting charges away. And he controls the middle Objective 2. Mazdamundi, super dead though. I don't know if I'm targeting with the cannons. I am. The cannons are in like this weird line formation. I'm not sure if all of them are firing. I guess they're all firing. Just trying to kill this dinosaur. Just trying to finish him off. Get a nice rune of Wrath and Ruin there, doing some damage to the red-crested skinks. These Thunderers, they're done. Yeah, that's really all there is to say about it, unless there's another Thunderer box right nearby and we kill the Cold One Riders with more firearms, because why do you need a front line when you can just have basically line infantry that cover one another, that are spread out, and just pick apart your opponent's assets before they can really get in? At least that was the goal. If nothing else, Dwarves have a stupid, irritating number of leadership points, so even when they get compromised, it doesn't really matter that much. Those cannons were being harassed by the Ripperdactyl Riders that I wasn't able to finish off, and now my opponent is sneaking in the woods with some Feral Cold Ones lurking around, trying to once again get on my cannon crew and into my ranged backline. So those Thunderers get annihilated. But in return, my opponent's Feral Cold Ones and Cold One Riders get killed themselves. The Rune Lord, he's not doing good. The Giant Slayers are fighting to the death. The Star Chamber Guardians are also fighting to the death. We're all fighting to the death here. We're all like desperate for death and, you know, grudges and whatever shit else. But we're all gonna die, which is fine, because I still have Thunderers. And my opponent, well, he does have Chameleon Skinks. Chameleon Skinks ain't got nothing on the firepower of Dwarves with shields. My opponent is back here with the Feral Cold Ones and the Cold One Riders, and unfortunately I've moved into a line formation, so I'm a little intolerant to getting charged, and he gets, yeah, pretty nice charge. Those Thunderers shuts them down. Those Thunderers are running. I've got Quarrelers, I've got Bugman's Rangers, I've got Dwarf Warriors, more Dwarf Warriors, just trying to like get all this irritating shit out of my back line and reform like a rank or something. Mazdamundi has healed himself up with Apotheosis. I think my opponent would have probably just been better off on summoning him and bringing him back. Was this another banishment? Yeah, oh man, and that's such a nice RNG arc for it to follow. Really doing a lot of damage on those Thunderers. Thankfully, all Dwarves have spell resistance, so I'm okay. You have some sneaky miners over here who've dug some tunnels and have popped up over here on the battlefield, so now they're running back to Objective 1. These Thunderers came back because Dwarves never surrender, even when they definitely should, they don't. These Dwarf Warriors pushing away these Feral Cold Ones, got the Bugman Rangers, got these Quarrelers, just trying to shoot at all these lizards in front of us. Miners, Quarrelers. My opponent has even got the Razor Dawn Hunting Pack, which is a cool ranged missile beast unit. And, you know, we're still comfortably holding Objective 3, but we are losing on points. I think on value, I was winning pretty handily, like 2,000 points above my opponent, because he doesn't really have much infantry. He's got the Saurus Warriors. He's got some, like, routing units. Yeah, some units, like, scrambling around. Unfortunately, as the Dwarves, you don't really have a lot of assets to chase your opponent's forces down with. Another Rune of Wrath and Ruin going down there. Not great. But, yeah, I mean, what are these Saurus supposed to do? I mean, probably attack. That would be a good start, but yeah, these Thunderers, they're just having fun, killing lizards, blasting them to pieces. And here come the Ripperdactyl Riders, and here comes the flank. More Feral Cold Ones, Chameleon Skinks, and that is all. These miners with blasting charges are not going to be able to hold off all these troops, and my Rune Lord is actually being surrounded by these Ripperdactyl Riders, but he gets like knocked over, so he's not really taking any serious damage. But he is surrounded, and then the attacks come in, and he is going to die for sure. yeah, down to 1 HP, and he is, yeah, unfortunately slain. Thankfully, these Ripperdactyl riders are right in the line of fire of all of my guns, and we are just gonna shred them, blast them out of the sky, get our revenge, or are we? We don't actually kill them, they don't die, that's another fucking grudge. Put that one in the book. So we're over here with our miners, we're claiming objective 1, and we are finally, we are claiming objective 2 with these dwarf warriors who have finally pushed through the mass of lizard meat to get to the front, including Mazdamundi, who's back. He's actually at his healing cap. He's healed so much. What am I summoning over here? I guess it was just Bugman's Rangers, trying to push off those Ripperdactyl riders. And my opponent is over here with the Feral Cold Ones fighting these miners. I think I should have no reason to win this battle. Everything that could possibly be against me is. So, yeah, those miners are not going to be able to do it. Get some Gyro Bombers. One more. Skyhammer's back. You know, just trying to accrue some more value with this guy dropping bombs on these Razor Dawn Hunters. Not like an incredible target, but these Saurus Warriors, they'll do. Yeah, we drop a bomb on them, basically kill half the unit's HP, and Mazdamundi is now in a shooting gallery, and he is going to be ripped to shreds with 1,000 guns, crossbows, shooting into his fat, fleshy mass, and he falls off, and teleports back home, leaving his Bastiladon to die. So we've claimed objective 1, we've got objective 2, we're still holding objective 3, albeit not for long, so we are slowly clawing our way back. But my opponent doesn't really have anything at all. I have this very powerful Dawi core here in the center, but he's got all these units on the flanks, and unfortunately dwarves, even when they pump their little tiny pathetic little legs, they can't move very fast. So especially if I just miss input and don't order them and just have them stand around. But Slayers can move fast for a dwarf. 40 speed, you know, really making Nurgle cope and cry in their beds. But, you know, I mean, it's the fastest unit I've got, and Slayers will defeat Feral Cold Ones, and maybe they'll beat Chameleon Skinks. I also summon a cannon. My thought process for this was I just need something very long range, and I lost my cannon earlier. He doesn't really have anything to deal with my cannon unit, so I figured, yeah, you know, this is fine, this is good. So I dropped some cannonballs in these Feral Cold Ones, and they are not happy to be on the receiving end of that, and they are going to rout, also being hit by Bugman's Rangers, who are actually out of ammo. They expended every single bolt that they had, and Giant Slayers on the way. Still holding the middle objective. He's just got Feral Cold Ones. Over here, he does have a pretty scary little core, Cold One Riders and Ripperdactyl Riders. But I've got Giant Slayers, and Giant Slayers are very, very happy to see these lizard units over here, because this is what they exist to do. They exist to kill these Ripperdactyl Riders. They exist to kill these Cold One Riders. And they've even got some support from these slowly trotting miners and dwarf warriors. These Feral Cold Ones just die. The Giant Slayers are here. They're going to very, very efficiently and quickly chop these Feral Cold Ones to pieces, who rout immediately. And the Giant Slayers are now engaged with the Ripperdactyl Riders, which I guess my opponent went into melee with them. Definitely out of desperation more than anything else, because there's nothing left. Yeah, there's basically just these birds who are definitely going to die. These Cold One Riders who probably should win. He's got like more. He summons in a unit of Cold One Riders, but I just have too much meat. And my opponent taps out. It's like, he's done. The value lead was just too immense. Even though I think he still had a point lead, there was really no coming back. Never take Gotrek against that army, anyway. The Sky Bomber did alright, the other Gyro Bomber I used terribly. The Cannon was great, the Thunders are amazing. 3,000 value on those guys, that's incredible. Mazdamundi did pretty good. The Temple Guard, yep. Just exactly what you'd expect from a lizard force. Those Giant Slayers killed a lot of stuff. Yeah. Thunder is amazing. All the range tools that the dwarves get are incredible. You just pay the price for, you know, recruiting some sort of subpar infantry like I did. Dwarven warriors are not really anything to write home about. He actually had Lord Croak. Never summoned him. Lord Croak, he he could have done some stuff, I think. Fun game, though. Thanks for watching.